We'll feature our top 5 goals. Some of them are awful pretty. Brought to you by Power Stick Antiperspirant, 24-hour protection. The Boston Bruins were undefeated at home, but that came to an abrupt end courtesy of the Buffalo Sabres.
Turgeon goes after it, gets it back to the line, taken by Bodger, winds up with the drive, the save, the rebound. Turgeon shoots, scored! And the Sabres have taken a 3-0 lead.
Benoit Hogue scored the goal.
And Darren Krupa stopped the goals. 30 saves worth.
Here's Gianni with it. They set it up. Here's a drive, and Krupa makes the save, and Krupa then holds on. Come back now. There's a long shot deflected. Here's another drive, and Krupa the save, another save, another save. And the Bruins just can't get it by Krupa.
Buffalo headed home with a 4-1 win, but little chance to rest. The next night brought the Calgary Flames to the odd. The key to this one, Sabres penalty killers stopping the league's best power play on each of the 6 extra man opportunities the Flames had. Buffalo's specialty team was something special.
They've killed 15 straight penalties in the last 3 games.
Well, that's nothing new. Not only power plays that can win games for you, killing penalties too.
But a Dave Snuggerud goal didn't hurt either. Snuggy loosened his own personal collar, scoring his first goal in 14 games, giving the Sabres a 2-1 lead. At the other end, the magnum force was goaltender Clint Malarchuk, sporting a new helmet that seemed to help him steer the puck clear.
Oh, here's a chance for Gilmore, and he could not get the shot away. He slams his stick on the ice.
With their back-to-back wins, the surging Sabres were feeling good about themselves for the first time this year.
What a good feeling it is to come into the dressing room after a game and you've been successful and you're so tired you can hardly move. And last night in Boston, there were a lot of guys that you could see that in their face. They were happy, but they could hardly move. And I'm guarantee you that in there tonight, there's a few more.
I think, the whole team is playing well, not just the goaltenders by any means. The guys have really come together. I mean, you can see it coming more and more every game, and that's really nice. We've taken some heat, and we got off to a rough start, so it's really nice that everybody's coming out, and we're starting to really put 60-minute games together.
In Boston, a bright note in that match with the Sabres. Following rehab from his 12th knee operation, Gord Kluzak was making another comeback, something an old Bruin could relate to.
I can understand what Gordy's going through. The toughest thing in the world is what Gordy's been going through the last few years, working out alone. It's something he's dreamt about all his life, and there's to play in the NHL.
Gord Kluzak's comeback bid continued 2 days later at New York's Madison Square Garden as Mike Milbury's Bruins took on the Rangers. Last year, Boston lost all 3 games to New York, and in the first meeting of this season, the Bees seem headed in the same direction. But with less than a minute left in the game, Cam Neely came up big.
Moog is out. Weimer fires it up the corner. Gianni trying to come in front with it. Gianni puts it in front. Shot. Score! Bruins! Neely! Bruins tie up. 14 seconds left.
Bob Sweeney made it worse for the Rangers as once again the Bruins charged.
Sweeney goes into the corner. Neely in front of the net. Trying to put it in front. Check. Neely goes in for Bob Sweeney. Score! The Bruins win it! Bob Sweeney from Cam Neely. Sudden death overtime, and Boston wins it.
Next on to Montreal for an old-fashioned collision. The bottom line, Andy Moog.
Sells drops it in front. Saved by Moog on Rocher.
The offense came from Dave Christian, taking care of business in the slot.
Bobola can't clear it. Wesley fires, save, scored! Christian on the rebound. Power play Boston. Dave Christian after the Wesley shot.
For Boston, a 2-0 win at the Forum and a 2-point hold on first place as the Adams Division dogfights start to show some bite. Time for a smattering from the Smythe Division. The Los Angeles Kings paid a visit to the Chicago Blackhawks. The hitting was predictable and the goaltending was exceptional. Ed Belfour for the Hawks and Daniel Bertiom for the Kings each put on a show.
Shoots, save, rebound, Yanni, shoots, save again. Rebound, Emerick in front, he shoots, save again by the goaltender Belfour. There's Chelios with a drive and a save. Now Gretzky on a breakaway, all alone, in front, he shoots, and a save by Belfour. McNeil in front, shot, save, Belfour, he beat Gilbert. Oh, the best save of the night.
One question the Kings hoped to solve was a dried-up power play. In Chicago, they got an answer.
Gretzky with it. Sets up the power play with 45 seconds ago. Into Emerick. Emerick in front. Robitaille score! Luke Robitaille. And the
was all Danny Bertium needed in a sweet 2-0 shutout for the Kings. For the Edmonton Oilers, a topsy-turvy season continues. Goal scoring and game winning are big problems. The struggles of Glenn Anderson are a case in point.
Glenn Anderson has no goals and 2 assists in 7 games. Tipped to Rory. It will not count. When you can't get them, you just can't get them. The whistle had clearly blown. There'll be no argument on it. Edmonton knew it, but it doesn't make them feel any better.
When you're in a slump and things aren't going well, this is the kind of thing that happens.
Against New Jersey, the Oilers would tie a team loss record set in the bad old days of 1980.
The Oilers are going to drop their 6th in a row and go 2-8-2. Disappointing homestand for the Oilers as they will lose all 3.
At the start of a new road trip in St. Louis, the futility and frustration continued. Edmonton mounted 27 shots but produced only 1 goal, and that came after starting Blues goaltender Vincent Riendeau was knocked out of the game. A 1-1 tie was broken by Jeff Courtnall, and that sent the Oilers to a club record 7th loss in a row. Unimaginable, but true. Now it's time for the Alka-Seltzer Plus Minus Award update. When you got a cold and you gotta get relief, you gotta get Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. Dependable veteran defenseman Mark Hardy of the New York Rangers. Good things happen when he's on the ice.
Has it. Centers. King shoots and it's blocked. And the rebound score. Mark Hardy.
5 weeks into the season with a productive plus-minus rating of +15, hard-hitting Rangers defenseman Mark Hardy is at the top of the leaderboard for the Alka-Seltzer Plus Award. On the road in Quebec, little-used winger Larry DePalma got the Stars pointed in the right direction.
DePalma turns it back over. Here he comes with Brock. Shoots, he scores! Larry DePalma finally breaks this scoreless deadlock late in the second. DePalma burying one behind Scott Gordon. It's 1-0 Minnesota.
Quebec coach Dave Chambers was an assistant last year in Minnesota, and he knows all about the talents of this man, John Casey. Those talents were on display.
1-0 North Stars is the score. Max Sundin, Petit, that drive, saved by Casey with 1 minute to go in the power play.
What a good save that was. He's just reaching. Good shot by Petit at the point. Look at the screen. You can hardly see the puck. What a fine save by John Casey.
Casey was en route to his 2nd shutout of the year, iced by this Brian Propp empty netter. With a win in hand, Bob Gainey was on his way back to Montreal, a place he once called home.
I spent 16 years with them, and they're a tremendous organization, and I enjoyed some great years there. And I always like to go back to Montreal. There's still certainly a place there in my heart and my mind for Montreal. But I'll be representing the North Stars, and I think they wouldn't expect anything less than our best competition when we get there.
Well, it got noisy here for a moment as the coaches came out on the ice. A standing ovation for North Star head coach Bob Gainey. They love Bob Gainey here, no matter who he's coaching or whose colors are on the bench in front of him.
Gainey's green and gold were well represented this night, thanks to a little help from another ex-Hab making a homecoming, centerman Bobby Smith. He had a hand in breaking a 1-1 tie.
Off escape. Smith keeps it alive. McPhee breaks it up. Hot potato right in front for Gagne. Shot score! Dave Gagne got an early Christmas present deep in the slot, and then with 3 beautiful stick moves onto Patrick Roy, skated right in and popped that baby home. It is 2-1 North Star.
But the Hollywood ending came up short when Montreal's Andrew Castles provided the equalizer. Nevertheless, a tie at the Forum and 3 points in the province had to provide a measure of satisfaction for Gainey and company. Bob Gainey's path to Minnesota was circuitous. It began after the 1989 Stanley Cup Finals when he decided to take a coaching job in France.
I knew that I wanted to stop playing, and that I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do next. And it was a chance for me to still be involved with the sport, to test a different level in a different area. It was a tremendous experience, and for me, after being in the NHL and being busy and always on the go, it was good for the first 3 or 4 months. And then about January, when I could see that the end of the year had come and we had accomplished just about all that we could, the hockey lost a little bit of its flair, which was about the same time as our family life was really coming around. because it took 2 or 3 months before we became adapted to the lifestyle and the language and the culture. And so for the last 3 or 4 months, we really took advantage of the things outside the hockey part of it. And it was a good balance. And initially, the hockey was really, really important and strong, and our personal life wasn't as good. And then it flip-flopped in the last 4 or 5 months.
Gainey played on 5 Stanley Cup champions in Montreal. He was the captain for 8 seasons. There's no doubt about his capabilities to be a coach among those who know him best.
Well, Bob has a lot of experience, and he's a very team-oriented person, you know, and I think he'll do very well in Minnesota if he gets the chance to do it. I think it's very important that they have to give him that chance. Bob is he knows the game very well and a very intelligent man, and I think that Bob can do a good job as an NHL coach if he's given the chance.
I roomed with Bob for a couple of years, and you know, he's just a class gentleman. He studies the game. I can remember staying up until 2, 3, 4 in the morning after games, just talking about the game. You know, what did you think about this, and how did that go, and what kind of system do you think that team used? So he was always a student of the game, and I just think it's a natural thing for Bob to move into coaching. I think he'll do well.
But the early going hasn't been easy, with only 3 wins in Minnesota's first 16 games. Still, patience prevails as a new coach refines his craft.
So I use all the tools that I think I have. It would be my experience and my past knowledge and my feelings that I had when I was a player, the things that I think are important on the ice, whether it's in the practice or game. And I'm a new coach, and I have lots to learn about how to handle people, and I think that's the most important part of the job, is solving problems and talking to people and trying to evaluate and place people where they can be successful.
The biggest thing is his respect throughout the whole league, and you know, after playing against him for 10 years, you gain his respect, no doubt about it. And he's got 5 or 6 Stanley Cup rings to show for it, and played on some excellent hockey teams, so he knows what it takes to win. And he's got a lot of respect throughout the league, and a lot of respect from his players on the Minnesota North Stars so far.
He's a rookie coach, but boy, that man's not a rookie at anything. People that meet him immediately recognize he has a very, very strong personality, very confident, very intelligent, and even though he's quiet, he is the ultimate communicator. These boys look him right in the eye, and they're listening to every single word he says. He doesn't use very many words, but each word's important. He has a leadership quality that I know the players will love, and he will have respect, and that kind of person will be successful probably at anything he undertakes.
Bob Gainey, the right man at the right time in Minnesota. Now it's time for the Power Stick Power Play. A penalty in Pittsburgh, and the Flames are burned big time. Stay tuned. Left in a tie game, Paul Coffey makes the most of a golden power play opportunity.
Charlie Zalewski sent it over to Coffey, and Mike Burner was screened. It was the top corner with only 14 seconds left.
Finding the power to beat the Flames, Paul Coffey and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Decision. For New Yorkers, nothing still gets the blood boiling like a Ranger-Islander matchup. Al Arbor's troops were in last place, the Rangers were in first, but that's not what defenseman Joe Reekie was thinking about in the third period.
Lightly to the puck, all the way across to LaFontaine. Back it goes to Reekie for the shot. Score! Joe Reekie, and the Islanders have regained the lead.
Reekie's 5th career goal came in his 140th NHL game and gave Glenn Healy a 3-2 edge. Back after sitting out 8 games with an ankle sprain, Healy held the edge even against this last-minute Rangers bid.
Tocchet pushes it away to Patrick. Van Beesbrook heads to the bench. Outside is Gardner. He's in. Saved by Healy.
The Rangers were beaten at home for the first time in 9 games, and a happy group of Islanders hoped it was the start of something big. But if the Isles planned to carry the winning momentum into their next game, those plans were shattered by the Washington Capitals. Off to the best start in their 17-year franchise history, the Caps were on the way to their 4th consecutive win.
Hunter comes back. He sidesteps LaFontaine, gets it to Rouse, pitching in, scores! Bob Rouse, the Caps lead 1-0. John Druce to Dale Hunter, who turns from traffic and scores! Great individual effort there by Dale Hunter.
The Capitals beat the Islanders 5-2, and more importantly, they continue to prove wrong all the preseason predictions of doom and gloom. A sideline Mario Lemieux may be cause enough for gloom in Pittsburgh, but a Calgary club record 3 goals in 42 seconds didn't help.
Here's the shot. Lemieux scores! It comes out in front. Pietrangelo looking behind him. They score! Ranheim with his 9th goal of the season. And that occurred just, let me see, 23 seconds after the Roberts goal. Here they go. Get out in front. Nolan scores! Oh, my!
And we're hardly having time here to get the goal straightened out.
But the Pens got their game straightened out. Paul Coffey on the power play with seconds left.
Zelensky looking over to Coffey. The shot scores!
Coming back from a 4-0 deficit, Coffey's goal the final touch in an incredible 6-5 Penguin win. Life hasn't been dull either for the New Jersey Devils. Winning 9 of their first 15 games has given the Devils reason to believe that they can be as good as their fans hope. A blend of young and old, North American and European, the Devils do have real talent.
The organization itself is in an upcycle. We have some talented young people, players mixed in with some veteran players that we have picked up over the last couple of years.
Sweden's Patrick Sundstrom continues to be quietly productive, much like Czechoslovakia's Peter Stastny or a pair of Soviet defensemen named Fetisov and Kasatonov. Still, the common colors are red and green.
This organization is built around the spirit, like in dressing room and on the ice, because when you have a good friendship, when you have respect for each other, for your teammates, for your coaches, and vice versa, it will definitely carry on the ice, and it will show in the results.
They're just another New Jersey Devil, and once you get on the ice, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're wearing the sweater, then you're a teammate, and the players don't really think about it all that much.
A new factor is the looming presence of Troy Crowder, who plays on a formidable checking line with Laurie Boschman and Al Stewart. These guys have been a pleasant surprise since September.
Well, it was a line formed in training camp, and the interesting part about it was we formed that line, and we had them playing against Peter Stastny, Kirk Muller, and John McLean, which was our big offensive line in training camp. And all of a sudden, we noticed that that line shut them down.
Troy Crowder has presence, and it means a lot. The Devils have always liked what they've seen.
What we noticed about him at training camp last year, we only had a few days with him, was that he had pretty good skills. He could stick handle and shoot a puck pretty well.
But last year, Crowder's story was absence. He left the team for 5 months.
I quit. I went home. I did some landscaping, enjoyed myself, and kept in contact with Lou over the year, and you know, finally in January he convinced me to come back. I worked hard this summer, whole new attitude into the game, and now I'm back with a team that is playing great.
More reasons for that. Chris Terreri, who's allowed only 26 goals in 10 games. Another reason, Kirk Muller's steady production. Put it all together, and the Devils think they can make a serious run.
I would put in at least 8 teams that really have a shot at it this year. But I feel the Devils will be right there.
Oh, but that deadly inconsistency. The Devils undefeated at home, taking on the New York Islanders.
Weimert's back to Lemieux. Lemieux the shot. Neely. Score!
But whatever Jersey had going didn't last in the face of 4 goals from the Islanders in the 3rd period.
Behind the net, wraparound shot. Save on LaFontaine. LaFontaine the other way. He scores! Pat LaFontaine, what an effort!
From a Devil defeat, let's change gears. Are you ready for top 5 goals? Time to lace them up. Time to tape them up. We're heading off in search of a 5 spot of puck-popping perfection. In other words, time to pay homage to 5 glorious goals. Starting off at numero 5, Stéphane Richer. This hab is hard to handle.
Richer gets to it in the corner. Richer made it around Dakota, picks it up. Richer, showtime, out in front, he scores! He can be the star of the show any night he wants to be.
At number 4, a little more from renewed blue back in St. Lou, Cliff Ronning.
Poked away by Ronning. Great stick handling. He fakes a shot. Weaving back to the blue line. Ronning now to the slot. A slap shot. He scores! Oh, what great work in the offensive zone by little Cliff Ronning.
We're thinking big in the number 3 hole. Washington's Kevin Hatcher, coast to coast.
Hatcher now turns from a flyer defender, gets it to center. And over the line, Kevin Hatcher still with the puck. Rackets out of his net, wraparound, scores! Kevin Hatcher, shorthanded goal for the Capitals. What a great effort.
If you like that, take another. From one end to the other, brother, Minnie's Mike Modano.
Big, rangy youngster from Michigan. Look at him go. He is blind. He is in. He scores! A brilliant rush from his own end by Mike Modano.
And the winner with a touch of flair beyond compare, Montreal's Dennis Savard.
Canadiens, though, back the other way. Dennis Savard. He'll do the spinorama move on. Rookie, and he scores!
Holy mackerel. Savardian spinorama, they used to call it.
You know they still do. No doubt about it, the spinorama is alive and well in Montreal. Nice moves, Dennis. Time for us to move on down the road. Take a shot with us next time on another exciting edition of Power Stick Hockey Week.